Tim was a celebrity. That was a huge story when he did 60 Minutes. Huge.
We were the first show after 60 Minutes together.
Very cool.
And I'll tell you, I mean, obviously at CLNS radio we have call lines, and I mean, I think the server overflowed because there were so many callers who just wanted a piece of Tim. And Tim and I remain very close friends to this day. He just called me.
I know.
The other day.
I was on the phone with you when he called. So I can vouch for that. It's the God's truth. Tim Donahue calling Nick Gelso, giving him the 411 on what's going on in Donahue.
And he gave me some info on the Mark Cuban situation, which I'm not allowed to reveal.
No, understandable. So how did we go from Tom Hanks 5 to gambling and NBA? Yeah, there you go.
We are sports broadcasters trying to become entertainment podcasters.
So the question is, where do we go from here? Do we take a break?
I think we take a break.
Let's do that.
We'll return after this word from our... Whoa, we got one? Sponsor.
Welcome back to Beats and Eats, the happy hour for your mind. Ray and Gelso with you. Breaking Bad, we can't get away from it, Nick. It is a craze, and I just read this in the paper the other day that there's actually going to be a funeral for Walter White in Albuquerque. That's how big this guy is. A fictional character getting a funeral.
But great. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but really a great service by Albuquerque, because let's face it, Breaking Bad. I mean, they sell blue rock candy down there, because they sold the blue meth on the show, so they sell blue rock candy. Yes, blue. They sell rock candy that's the color blue and looks like crystal meth that Walter and Jesse cooked. They have the house that Walter White lived in is an actual house there where people live, and people stop constantly to take pictures in front of it. Really has done a lot for that city. So this is a great tell listeners about this, because this is pretty cool.
And I also read, getting back to the house, that the owners of that house will not sell that home.
No, they won't sell it. I think they've been offered multi-millions of dollars.
Now, I can't make this stuff up, Nick. I can't make this stuff up. Sometimes
yes, you can.
Real life is better than fiction sometimes, but the guy that's putting on this funeral, his name is, Giacomo Bazzell? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Giacomo Bazzell.
That sounds like a great drink. I'll have a Giacomo Bazzell. But, I mean, he's probably Native American.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. But the Walter White funeral is in New Mexico. The reception is at Vernon's Steakhouse.
Are you going to attend?
I'm serious.
We should fly down
there. Do beats.
Or any of the cast. I'm sure that the cast are.
It didn't mention that. It didn't mention that, but it did mention, the article did mention that the producers of the show do plan on doing an online auction where you can buy props from Breaking Bad. Can you imagine what that stuff will go for, especially right now?
Think about this. Aaron Paul raised well over $1 million for his wife's charity, the Kind campaign or whatever, by giving away tickets to the closing, the finale party that was in the graveyard in L.A., and by giving away autographed gas masks and hazmat suits or whatever they are. He raised well over $1 million.
$1 million.
I mean, if you're not following Aaron Paul on Twitter, Ty, you need to.
Oh, I know I am. I retweeted something he said last night that got retweeted.
He's great. He is great with his fans, but what amazes me is he'll tweet something out, I'll click on it to retweet it if it's worth retweeting, and by the time I retweet it, 400 other people already retweeted it too. I mean, he's just got a really engaged following. So, and the going back to the Walter White funeral, the cast of Breaking Bad are extremely loyal to their fans, obviously, because the show was, it really was a shot in the dark if it was going to work or not. Yeah. So I believe they'll probably, at least Vince Gilligan, one of them will attend that funeral, I'm sure.
And there's also,
are they going to have a casket?
I bet they do.
Is Bryan Cranston going to get a casket?
Me of, can I say something? This reminds me of something Star Trek fans would do. That's how crazy this is.
Yeah. Well, the funny part about it is there's a lot of Star Trek references in Breaking Bad.
See, I haven't seen the show. I don't know that.
Yeah. Man, you're just gonna love the show, and I wish you'd start watching today. But there's a lot of Star Trek references in it, and the producers, the writers are all Trekkies. They're dorks. So that would, so it's ironic that the fans are very cult-like, and they are. I'm one of them.
And there will be
what would they be called? A baddie? Like instead of
baddie.
I
like that. I like that a lot. Maybe you could start something. A little late now, though.
Hashtag.
Although you have to wonder, Nick, if a show like this, if you were telling me hashtag, if the I remember one time you said pound sign. You were really dating yourself when you were referring to Twitter.
God.
Remember that?
Yeah. I was on a post-game show. Jared Weiss still has not let me live that down.
It's pound sign Celtics. Pound sign CLNS.
I am not joking. And what's really funny is I was on Twitter in 2006 or 2007. I was on Twitter before TweetDeck. Like you had to keep hitting F5 and refresh. And I'm on the Celtics postgame show, which, by the way, before you joined, I was the oldest guy on the show.
Now I'm the old veteran.
Now you're the veteran. But the point is, here I am. Well, Jared, make sure you put pound CLNS after that. It's like pound. What do you mean pound?
Hashtag
pound sign. Anyway,
we're surprised you know what Twitter is when you make references like pound.
Oh, pound.
Tweeter.
Now,
you got to do one of those pound signs on that there
this
tweeter.
Had to be 2 years ago. I mean, it was a while. It was during the
It was a while ago. My God, we're getting off topic here. But
yeah. Anyway, you're going back to
Walter White. Walter White found there's going to be an endowment fund, and you can donate $20 to $5,000 that goes to the Albuquerque Community Foundation. So they're actually raising money for the city, which is neat.
It's great, and let's transition to another topic here, but also staying on the Breaking Bad. There is an episode in the show where the Sun creates I think it's Save Walter White website to raise money for them to help him with his cancer treatment, and I think it's SaveWalterWhite.com. So the other day I'm rewatching the show, as you know, and so I go to SaveWalterWhite.com, and the site exists, and it is the exact site that the Sun created. It's crazy.
Smart.
It's crazy.
Good stuff.
It is. SaveWalterWhite.com. I'm looking at it right now. My dad is amazing. It's funny, but I didn't know that until whatever. I mean, it goes through the whole thing. It's the exact site that was on the show. And go to the site, Ty, because I think you'd see there how I make the comparison with Bryan Cranston as Walter White to Phil Hartman. He looks like him in these pictures.
Speaking of Phil Hartman, it was Daryl Hammond who did all those.
You're right.
Daryl Hammond.
Daryl Hammond, great actor.
For all those of you just listening in, we were talking about Saturday Night Live a few seconds ago. Not a few seconds ago, probably 45 minutes ago, but we were talking about Saturday Night Live, and we couldn't think of the person doing all the impersonations back in the early 90s. Daryl Hammond, of course, did. Chris Matthews did what? Clinton did a bunch of them. But
Al Gore.
Yeah, Al Gore. And you were why we're bringing this up is because you had mentioned that Bryan Cranston was very similar to Phil Hartman in a lot of ways.
It just reminds me of him. And speaking of Breaking Bad and bringing things up, we have Jennifer Coaches on.
Yes, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad was in this terrific independent film. Wonderful independent film. If you haven't seen it, please do. It's been on demand on Xfinity here where I live. So if you're on that cable system, please look it up. It's called Smashed the Movie. And if you've had anybody in your life that has battled addiction, or if you've battled addiction yourself, be it alcohol, drugs, whatever, you have got to see this film Smashed. And we plan on having the producer. We haven't scheduled her yet, but she's agreed to come on, Jennifer Coaches. And this film is so good, Nick. I can't say enough about it. And I want to watch it again before she comes on Beats and Eats because I want to have it fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great movie. Aaron Paul basically plays Jesse Pinkman in the movie. No, he doesn't. But it's a similar character. You know, it's a husband and wife, both alcoholics, and obviously the wife goes into recovery. Great movie.
Well, she's in such denial, too, especially in the beginning, remember?
Yeah, I mean,
not to be a spoiler here, but remember she's a school teacher, right?
Yeah, well, let's not spoil it.
But it's amazing that she's able to get through her days.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing, Ty, because I'm non-functional after drinking. I mean, I can't function for 2 days usually.
And for those of you who don't know me personally, Nick, you do. I don't drink, and it's not because I had my day in the sun, if you will. I had my fun, man. And now if I did that, I really could not function. I mean that. I mean, I know my body well enough to know what I'm capable and not capable of doing. And if I were to drink heavily on a given evening, I'm done for the rest of the day, the following day. There's nothing I could do.
And I do drink heavily. Silence. I drink occasionally.
And what do you think causes that, Nick? Is it childhood issues?
Probably it might be stress related to the restaurant business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, you gotta see this film, and it'll be a really interesting interview too. I'm interested to get her insight, into addiction and why she decided to make the film.
And the ending. The ending was so just weird. Like, I liked it because it was kind of like it was different. Obviously, I won't give it away, but it just weird. And also, I want to see what it was like to work with Aaron Paul, who doesn't drink. So he had to, I don't think he's a heavy drinker, but he had to go through. I think I read a story somewhere where she or the director, someone took the co-star and the wife, I can't remember her name, and Aaron Paul out to get him hammered and see how he reacted around her, which is something he doesn't really do.
Yeah, that's the lead female in the film is Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think
very good.
Oh, terrific film, or terrific actress rather. And you may have known her from other films that she's worked on. A Good Day to Die Hard she was in, Nick. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, what a terrible movie.
Who was thinking? What were they? But having said that, not a very good film. But she was able to parlay Smashed, her role in Smashed to get noticed enough, so she was in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. She was actually Mary Todd Lincoln in that film.
Wait, I thought Smashed came out after that?
It didn't. No.
Interesting.
Yeah, it didn't. And then, of course, A Good Day to Die Hard did, which I have not seen. That's for another show. That's our top 5 Bruce Willis films, and there aren't many top 5.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of them, but boy, recently
No, he's not doing much.
What, you didn't like Expendables? Expendables 2? Soon to be Expendables 3?
Loved was it Moonlighting? Moonstruck?
The Moonlighting with he and Sybil. Oh, Sybil Shepherd. Oh, my God.
Probably get her. Not working.
Oh, my goodness. She was a great actress, too. Still, for all I know, she's still a great actress. I haven't followed her.
He had hair in that movie.
He did have hair.
That show.
Yeah, he did have hair. Yeah, and then they started near the end. Well, no, you probably don't. But then the great thing was the tension between them, and then they got involved, and then the show went to crap.
Yep.
So what else we got going on as we wrap the show up?
I don't know.
You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Busy.
You're doing your thing. We're going to have more chefs, more people from the food industry. Can't wait to have more of them on the show.
We're working closely now with Barrett Beyer from Hell's Kitchen. Recently had on Gwen Lepap from Chopped.
He was hilarious. I never knew when to laugh and when not to laugh.
Me either. And, dealing with him, obviously I'm a restaurant consultant, so I deal with these chefs all the time. And dealing with Gwen is always fun because you just don't know how to take him. But he's just got a crazy sense of humor. I don't know how would you, very French, I guess.
Very, very French. I laughed hysterically. We were talking about Orange is the New Black, and he said hot girl-on-girl action in a French accent. And let me tell you, Nick, there's nothing hot about girl-on-girl action in Orange is the New Black, so I was just rolling.
He is just a really interesting guy and a talented chef, and man, just traveling and doing a lot of consulting work, and it's always interesting to work with different staffs, as far as training, educating, elevating, motivating, and it's great to work with the staff that wants to learn. And right now, I'm working with the Beaumont very closely. I'm in the third week I'm in the third week of a 4-week training program that has been intense, and it's very rewarding when you come back the next week and they remembered what we talked about the week before. It's a lot of fun. We keep it fun.
Well, you sound like you have a lot of fun. You have a great passion for culinary, everything culinary, and it comes across when you're on the air. It really does. You have such a passion for it. It's so much fun. It's so, well, especially me, who